Let's break down why Christian Zionism is evil, why Judaism is evil from a Christian perspective. I don't care whether you're a hardcore anti-Israel person or if you're the strongest Jew, Christian Zionist there ever was. You're going to get use out of this video because we're going to break it down on a case basis, on a biblical basis, on all of them. I'm Jarrod Wright. This is The Right Wing. Let's get into it.
The Right Wing has been excellent. Jarrod Wright, Christian nationalist influencer.
Zionism, what exactly is it? Especially Christian Zionism. Zionism is specifically the belief that the Jews deserve this special nation land of Israel because it's been promised to them, 6,000 years ago by God in the Old Testament. We're going to dive into exactly what verse they're going back to, why they think this, and I want to break it down as to why it's evil. It is not true. And no, us Christians have no anything with Jewish people. We are not attached to them at all. Matter of fact, they're not even real Jews per se. Jew isn't even a great term for what I would call an Old Testament saint. We're going to break the whole thing down. First off, though, let's look at Genesis 12:3. This is the most important verse. This is where every single Zionist, every single Jew, every single Christian Zionist is going to go back to. And they're going to say, but. What does Genesis 12:3 says? It says God speaking to Abraham, and he says, I will bless those who bless thee, and I will curse those who curse thee. And typically what happens within Zionism is they're going to take this and they're going to spin it. And they're going to say, well, this is God saying that he will bless Israel and those who bless Israel. And he will curse those who do not want Israel to be around. They're going to try to spin it around and say, this is why the current day nation state of Israel and the Jews of today need their homeland. Well, it's not true. It's just not. I mean, I don't mean to burst your bubble here, but let's break down why it's not true. First and foremost, we have the actual declaration to Abraham. He's speaking to Abraham and specifically his descendants. Now, who are Abraham's descendants? Well, the easy answer would be, well, that's his bloodline. That's Abraham's direct bloodline down from there. Well, we can't trace that. We don't trace that. Nobody connects to Abraham as far as I'm concerned because we don't have his DNA to actually connect to. Now, we can take guesses as to who is actually Semitic. Hint, hint, it's not Jewish people. They're mostly European, most of the Jews worldwide, which is what's even funnier. It's like, this is why DNA tests are illegal in Israel. Go look it up. They really are. You can't just go get a DNA test. They're incredibly, incredibly hard to find, hard to get. They don't want them because if you take a DNA test, it's going to say, hey, you're not from here. But what verses directly contradict how these Zionists use Genesis 12:3? Well, let's just dive into a few. I have them pulled up right here. How about Romans 9? People love to go to Romans 9. Oh, Romans 9 through 11. This is why we're supposed to. The Jews were always with us. What does Romans 9 say? This is verses 6 through 8. But it's not as though the word of God has failed. For not all who are descended from Israel belong to Israel. And not all are children of Abraham because they are his offspring. But through Isaac shall your offspring be named. That is, it is not the children of the flesh who are the children of God, but the children of the promise who are counted as Abraham's offspring. Now, what are the children of the promise? Paul addresses this directly. Galatians 4, Galatians 3 says, now you, brothers, like Isaac, are children of promise. In Galatians 3, he says, and if you are Christ's, then you are Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. He is saying it does not matter if you are directly related to Abraham. It doesn't matter. You must accept Christ to be a part of this inheritance, this blessing, this covenant that God made with Abraham. It's not to his exact blood descendants. That's never what it was intended to be. It's intended to be those who accept Christ because the Jews or the Old Testament saints, like I said, continually turn their backs on God over and over and over. Oh, I mean, that's all they did. And God said, I'm done with this. He said, I am cutting you off. We're done. And that's how we get Christianity. That's when he sends his son for us. They spent 400 years in the dark before Jesus. Approximately 400 years. before Jesus came. They were in the dark. There's why nothing was written for so long, because they had fully turned away from God. And Jesus consistently calls out these people. We talk about the Pharisees and the Sadducees. We talk about how, oh, we don't like them, and Jesus called them out. He didn't like the religious folk. Yeah, you know why? Because they were literally against God. They didn't follow the correct practices. We're talking about a people group who nowadays think they can trick God instead of performing the correct sacrifices outlined in the Old Testament. They go get a chicken and swing it above their head, thinking that transfers their sins to the chicken. Does this sound like some sort of profound chosen people to you? It's not. It's a disgusting, evil, satanic cult. Sorry, we won't call it for what it is. I speak on it quite harshly because I was brainwashed for a long time, because this is what is taught, especially within Protestantism, especially with evangelicalism. This is what's taught in the American church, is that, oh, you need to bless Israel. We're going to watch a clip of a church here in just a second. You're going to see what they say. You're going to see about what's going on with this war. You're going to see the awful, awful things that are brought up and talked about. It's mind-boggling. It truly is. And if no other verse convinces you, what about 1 John 2:23? He who rejects the Son cannot also have the Father. If you reject Jesus Christ, you immediately say no to God. You cannot have God while you're rejecting the Son, Jesus Christ. That's how we know they are not of our religion. Even the star that they tout on their flag and everywhere, the Star of David they call it. Do you know what it is? It's the Star of Remfan. It's talked about. That's the last little g god that they worship before the Old Testament ended in Amos. And Paul references it. He says, this is who you worship, the star god. And so they start putting the star on everything. Where else does that turn up? Pagan temples? Demon worship? What are some things that the Jews have pushed? Transgenderism? Multiculturalism? They've pushed all of these things extremely hard. Porn? They own all the major porn industries. It's rabbis who run the porn industries. And you think these are good people? You think they're our allies? They think Jesus Christ is in hell, burning in human poop. And you think that they're good friends of ours, that they love you, that we should just welcome in. Yeah, oh yeah, these are good people. No, they are hellbound. I'll never forget the day a Jew showed up at my church, a special guest of the pastor. It made me so angry. This is when my awakening really started. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. Why do we have somebody speaking to us who is hell-bound? He rejects Jesus Christ, and we view him as a friend? Why are we doing this? That's why my spiral started. I said, this doesn't make any sense. Why are we, letting Jews come speak to us as Christians? They don't believe in what we believe. Not even close. Truthfully, though I don't agree with Islam, though I think it's heresy, though I don't want it anywhere near the United States, it is closer to Christianity than Judaism has ever been. And yet you think that Islam is going to be the force that destroys America. I hate to break it to you, but Judaism is destroying America right now. We are screwed. We are allowing Bibi Netanyahu and his Jewish folk to run all over us. They say Donald Trump is the greatest friend we've ever had in office. Is that not of concern to you that a foreign nation says that? Drives me absolutely insane. Let's watch a video. Let's just watch what churches have to say about Israel. It's truly, truly mind-boggling. I mean, I don't even know how to get around it. Let's share this video. Here we go.
The Gaza Strip, which has now been cut off by Israel, and rightly so. They should have cut them off a long time ago.
This is the evangelical church I'm talking about.
There's 6 doors in this church. You can leave anytime you want to.
There's the star.
They've cut them off, electricity. They've cut off their water. They should have. Now, listen, I'm not for hurting anyone that's innocent. But anybody that supports terrorism is not innocent. You understand that? Israel should make the Gaza Strip a parking lot by this time next week.
This is a pastor speaking.
Destroy the whole thing. What they ought to do is evacuate up there on the hill and get a great big missile and blow that wicked dome of the rock plumb off of the spot where it's standing right now, so we can get that third temple rebuilt and usher in the coming of Jesus.
And the people clap.
Boy, it is embarrassing and shameful as an American Christian.
It is,
hear
Tucker.
that.
You are correct. It is embarrassing. It is shameful. Let's just stop that share. It's embarrassing and it's shameful to see these things happening in our nation. To see that this is the modern state of pastors? This is considered a good pastor in America? Are you joking? Cheering on the killing, the murder, the genocide of thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of innocent lives. To compound this, do you think the United States is much better? Do you know what we did in this war? It is released at the time of this filming today that it was our missile that targeted the little schoolgirls in Iran, killed 160 of them or more. It was our missile. We did that. We targeted a school because, terrorism. We're the terrorists. Israel is the terrorists. And we blame it on everybody else. This nation has been occupied for a very long time, and I'm tired of it. It's time you wake up to it. That's why I make these videos. That's why I speak to you. I don't want you brainwashed. I can't stand it. It tears me up inside to see the evil going on all around the place, all around this nation. The brainwashing of people thinking we're supposed to go bless this nation state of Israel, who has no bearing on our country, has no bearing on our religion. They are terrorists. They are Satanists. They don't worship the same God as us. They don't follow the Old Testament laws. They believe Jesus is in hell, burning in human poop, and yet you bow down to them and kiss their feet like they're special for some reason. They don't even descend from that spot of the earth. They don't even descend from Abraham. They don't descend from Jesus. There is no DNA tracking them back to it or the slimmest amount possible. But yet you bow down and you kiss their feet like they are Jesus. That is not biblical. You are called to be a whole lot better than that, Christian man. You are called to rise up and do way more than that. Fires me up to see the state of this world and to see Christian men who are absolute cucks for a satanic nation. Wake up. Be better. I'm tired of the occupation. I'm tired of the brainwashing. That's why I do what I do. I put it all out on the line so that you can wake up, that you can see the truth. I pray you get fired up with me. I pray if you don't know Jesus, you turn your life over to Jesus right now. Honestly, experience the peace that is in Jesus Christ. If you like this, I'm Jarrod Wright. This is The Right Wing. I post these videos so you can see the truth. I hope to see you back here next time.